The celestial accord hummed with the quiet efficiency of a ship designed for diplomatic missions across 12 star systems. Carolyn had been aboard for 3 months now, serving as the human liaison to the Velthrian Coalition, a collection of herbivorous species who'd built their entire civilization around the principle of absolute pacifism. They were terrified of her. Not personally, of course. Kara was careful, soft-spoken, deliberate in every movement. But she was human, and humans were predators. Forward-facing eyes, omnivorous teeth, a heritage written in pursuit and endurance hunting across African plains. The Velthrians could smell it on her, quite literally, thanks to their enhanced olfactory senses. Ambassador Lin, chirped to Kessa, the ship's Velthrian captain, her rabbit-like ears flattening against her skull as Kara entered the bridge. The delegation from Rinville 4 has requested you remain in your quarters during their arrival. They find your presence unsettling. Kara suppressed a sigh. This was the 4th time this month. Of course, Captain. I'll make myself scarce. Back in her quarters, Kara kicked off her boots' standard-issue military footwear from her old service days and collapsed onto her bunk. The irony wasn't lost on her. Humanity had finally reached the stars, only to discover they were the monsters of every child's bedtime story. The galaxy was full of prey species who'd evolved on worlds without significant predators. They'd developed technology through cooperation and necessity, not competition. And then humans showed up with their binocular vision and their protein-rich diets and their inexplicable fondness for keeping other predators as pets. She didn't blame them for being afraid. She just wished they'd see past the biology to the person underneath. Sleep came fitfully, interrupted by the artificial day-night cycle that never quite matched her circadian rhythm. When her alarm chirped at 0600 hours, Kara groaned and swung her legs over the side of the bunk, reaching automatically for her boots. Her right boot felt heavy and warm. Kara froze. Slowly, carefully, she lifted the boot and peered inside. 2 enormous golden eyes stared back at her. "Oh shit," Kara whispered. Curled inside her boot was a creature no bigger than her fist, covered in midnight blue fur that shimmered with an almost iridescent quality. Its face was distinctly feline, a tiny muzzle, delicate whiskers, ears that swiveled toward her voice. But the resemblance ended there. 6 legs were tucked beneath its body, and a prehensile tail curled protectively around itself. A Rinville predator cub. Kara's mind raced. The Rinville were the apex predators of their homeworld, intelligent enough to have achieved early spaceflight before a plague nearly wiped them out. They were rare, protected, and absolutely not supposed to be on diplomatic vessels. The delegation wasn't arriving, they'd already arrived, probably searching frantically for their missing cub. The tiny creature Rinka, according to the translator chip that helpfully pulled up species data, chirped softly and stretched, its claws catching briefly on the boot's worn leather. "Hey there, little one," Kara murmured, keeping her voice low and calm. "You picked a hell of a hiding spot." Rinka blinked slowly, then yawned, revealing rows of needle-sharp teeth. To the Velthrians, this creature would be the stuff of nightmares, a tiny killing machine. To Kara, it looked like every kitten video she'd ever watched during her rare downtime on Earth. The cub made a decision. With a chirruping sound that might have been contentment, it climbed out of the boot and directly onto Kara's lap, kneading her thigh with its multiple paws before curling into a tight ball. Kara's hand hovered over the come button. She should report this immediately. The Rinville delegation would be panicking. But something made her pause. Rinka was purring a deep, rumbling sound that vibrated through her entire tiny body. The cub had chosen her quarters, her boot, her lap. Despite being surrounded by dozens of beings who would have cooed over it, protected it with the gentle desperation of herbivores encountering a baby, the cub had sought out the only predator on the ship. "You knew, didn't you?" Kara said softly, stroking the silky fur with one finger. "You could smell it." "That I'm like you." The realization hit her with unexpected force. The Velthrians spent so much energy being afraid of her, maintaining careful distance, monitoring her diet to ensure she never consumed meat in their presence. They saw the predator and couldn't see past it, but Rinka had no such hesitation. To the cub, Kara wasn't a monster, she was familiar. Safe, another predator, which meant kin in the most fundamental sense. The cub crackled to life before she could press it. "Ambassador Lin, this is Captain Takesa." We have a ... situation. The Rinville delegation has lost track of one of their young. Have you seen? She's here, Captain, Kara interrupted gently. In my quarters. She's safe. The silence stretched for 3 heartbeats. She's S ... with you? Asleep in my lap, actually. I think she spent the night in my boot. Another pause. That's... Ambassador, the Rinville are predators. They're dangerous, even the young. You should... I'm aware, Captain. Kara smiled down at the sleeping cub. But so am I, and I think that's exactly why she came here. When the Rinville delegation arrived at her quarters, moving with the liquid grace of hunters, Kara saw their surprise. Not at finding their cub safe, but at finding her comfortable. The lead delegate, a scarred female named Sektha, tilted her head in a gesture Kara's translator identified as curiosity. She chose you, Sektha said, her voice a purring rasp. Rinka ignored all the soft speakers to find the only other predator on this vessel. Yes, Kara said simply. Sektha's lips pulled back, revealing her own impressive teeth, a smile, the translator assured her. Perhaps you humans are not so alone in this galaxy as you believe. We have been looking for our kin among the stars for a long time. Ambassador Lim, it seems the young ones have better instincts than we do. As the delegation departed with a reluctant Rinka, Kara caught Takessa's expression. The captain's ears were no longer flat against her skull. Instead, she looked thoughtful. Ambassador, Takessa said quietly. Perhaps I have been ungenerous if the Rinville trust you with their most precious... I'm still me, Captain, Kara said. Same forward-facing eyes. Same omnivorous teeth, yes, Takessa agreed. But perhaps that's not all you are. That night, Kara found a message on her personal terminal from Sektha. The young see clearly what we old ones forget, that predators understand each other. You are welcome on Rinville 4, Ambassador, always. Kara smiled and set her boots by the bunk. Tomorrow, she'd clean the tiny claw marks from the leather. Tonight she'd leave them exactly where they were.